evening all, and welcome to the show. Better late than never and all that, but we've actually made it. I didn't know if we were going to make it this week or not, but we have made it. All sorts of bit happening. I'll tell you all about it later. But hello to everybody who is with us in the chat as normal. Remember, this is series 17 that we're on now, is it? And I think it's episode 5 this week. Am I right in thinking it's episode 5? Is that what YouTube's telling you? But yeah, I think it's episode 5 this week of series 17, and they said it wouldn't last, but it has. It's definitely lasted. Yeah, we're with you for a little bit of time this evening. It's not going to be a massively long show tonight, mainly because I'm not having my tea yet. I'm awaiting my pizza tonight. But yeah, I've been house clearing all day today. So yeah, it's been busy, and it's going to be busy for the next few weeks. Actually, I can take this off now because I can't hear anything through it anyway now. Right, hang on. There we go. I'm having a bad hair day. So these are all bad hair days. At least I've got a bit left around the sides to have a bad hair day with. Yeah. Hello, and welcome to the show. Who is with us today? Christopher's here, Wesley's here, Neville is here. I know, I can't remember if I said we were going to be on even this week or not. I can't remember what I said, but anyway, we are here. So hello to all those who are here, and I'm guessing some of the people will watch it on catch up. So if you're watching us on catch up, hello to you too. Yeah. Main order of business tonight is we've got a bit of an unboxing to do. Don't yawn, I don't do unboxings like most YouTubers do unboxings. I don't drag it out and put adverts between it and that. Talking of adverts, please note there should not be any adverts in the middle of this stream, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it after the event. If there are any what they call mid-roll adverts in it, I want to know about it, because there shouldn't be. If there are, please email me, Andy@callpress, all words, CALLPRESS.net. Now, Andy@callpress.net, and let me know if there are any mid-roll ads in this stream, because there shouldn't be. Right, and if there are, YouTube are going to get a kick in. Right, anyway, yeah. Down to business. I've had a box arrive. Actually, the box has been here a while, waiting for a moment to open it. Now, the thing is, this box is quite big. Hang on. Let me see. Don't know what the best way is going to be to do this, really. But here's said box. Right, might be time to change the old camera so you can see what's going on. Perhaps can I tilt that up so you can see this box? Yes, I can. Right. Yeah, there it is. There's the box. Right. So we're going to open this box, and we're going to do it in the traditional Andy Shed way with a screwdriver, because I've never got a knife to hand. They don't let me play with sharp things. So I think I know what's in this box. I think it is something I actually bought. Don't think it's an Arthur parcel this time, so I think it's one that I know actually what's in it. Arthur occasionally sends us parcels with things in that we don't always know what they are. Oh, thank you, Arthur, for the most recent parcel that had another Viscount phone in it. And that. Thank you very much for that, if I've not said so already. Right, here we are. So, cardboard. And then, look, Oh, they're well packed. It's almost a shame to take them out of there. Look. Right, they are well packed. He's done that before, hasn't he? Guy who's packaged these. Right, what we have here. Crikey, he's done it so well, I can't get them out there. Can't get them out there. Stuff. But what we have here. These Tribunes. And look, it's got a star and a hash key, so it'll work with the modern system. So we've got Tribune. We've got 3 colours of Tribunes here. We've got this colour, which I think they call this colour grey. We've got 3 of these, 4 red ones, and an ivory sort of coloured one. So I think the claim is white, but they never look white to me. But yeah, it looks like we've got the cords and everything on them. So there's one. Now this is there are different versions of Tribunes. You have to look for the number on them. A 9801 AR. 9801 AR. That one. Let's see what this one is. This one is a 9802 AR. There is a difference, but off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. I'm sure somebody will tell me. RSR. They look the same. 9801, 9802. This one's 9803. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? And 802 LR again. There's that one. The white one that I think is ivory. Fastest unboxing in the history of the world, isn't it? 9802 AR. You'll get into all the different versions of Tribunes in a little while. That's one of those. 4 so far. When I tell you what I paid for these, you'll cry. I think I paid about £11 for the box full. And then the same seller, strangely, withdrew a second lot that had got any sort of fairly equal number in. That disappeared. That lot. Wonder why. Right. What is this one? 9802 AR. mark on it now, but it does come off, so it'll be okay. Right. Hang on. Do that one next, because it was tipping the box up. Oh, I put that in the wrong place. 9801 AR. Well, red phones for some reason are always more popular, particularly dynaphones. If you're selling like 746s and 706s, the red ones always fetch more money than the other colours. People want the red hotline phone, don't they? Right, this tiny room is rapidly filling up with cardboard. What's this one? 9802 AR. And finally, have 9801 AR. These are all one ren, these, by the way. So there we have it. So we've got four red ones. So we've got AR and LR, 9801 and 9802 variants. It might be to do with bells or warblers. I'll check to find the details in just a moment. I'm just putting them all back in the box for now. But I will check my details in a minute. Gently put them all back in there for now. And put the box down there. So, yes, Tribunes, lots of them. Here's what we've got there. Lots and lots of Tribunes. So we've got 981 and 9801 and 9802, LR and AR. Christopher says, I have YouTube Premium, so I don't get ads. Why on earth are you paying for that, Christopher? Just run Firefox as your browser and get an ad blocker, and then you don't have to pay for YouTube Premium, and it does still work. I know, because that's what I do. But unfortunately, I still get stuck with the ads on my smart TV because I can't get an ad blocker on my smart TV. It says, did my letter get to you? No, it hasn't, Christopher. No, if you sent something by snail mail, it's definitely not arrived. And did you see the photos of my New Zealand PO746 that I sent? I haven't, I don't think. No. It's probably here, but like I say, my computer's not been switched on for a couple of days, so I'm a bit behind on my email. Santa Claus is here. Hi, Santa. You're not the Santa that I once did a TV show with, are you, Santa? Yeah, I always did a TV show with someone called Santa. I honestly did. Yeah. Nice red phones. They look like they belong on my desk at the North Pole, says Santa. Yeah, probably. Yeah. You ought to have a green one, Santa. Christmas is red and green, isn't it, really? If you had a red one, it might blend in a bit too much with your coat. Or do you wear a green coat? Are you a traditional Santa that wears green, not red? You may be a traditional Santa. One before Coca-Cola got involved. Nice red phones. They look like they belong on my desk, he says. Or she says. Is Santa... Excuse me. God. Telephones that get up your nose, you know. Oh dear. Must be a bit of dust flying about in here. Right, yeah, I'll have a look for the pictures and stuff in a little while. Gambo is with us. Hi, Gambo. He says, away at my Mars and forgot the time. We'll let you off, Gambo. We'll let you off. Yeah. So I was going to have a little look, wasn't I? To see if I could find out anything about 9801, 9802. Right, so the first Tribune apparently was a 9401AR, which had a tone dialer. Then there was a 9402, which had a tone dialing only, it said. Both were earth time break recall. The 9401AR had a bell. The 9402AR had a tone caller, so a warbler. 9403R had a tone caller. 9801R had a bell. 9802AR had a bell. 9803 had a bell. 9804. What number did I say these were? (9802). So we're looking for 9802. So 9801 AR has a bell. 9802 AR has a tone caller. But it doesn't tell you. But they are all AR, and at least one of these was LR, wasn't it? I believe. No, AR. I'm sure one of these was LR. Let me have a look. AR. 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 01 AR. So that one should have a bell in it, apparently. Should be a tone caller. AR. Maybe I imagined the LR. Did I imagine it? AR. .980.1 AR. So I'm imagining the LR. So these are all AR, and so two that are 980.1s rather than 980.2s should have a bell in them. So shall we try them? Shall we try a red? Where's me? Oh, where's my thing gone that we plug into? It's there. So then, oh yeah, it tinkled, so I plugged it in. So, if I dial on it, is it? Oh yeah, it does. Hello? Oh yeah, that one works. Right, cool. Yeah. So that's got a bell in it. If I do it again, you will hear the bell. Sounds somehow a bit American, that, doesn't it? So that one has a bell in it, and the 980.2 apparently has has a, what's it in it? Has a tone caller, so it'll probably sound a bit like a trim phone or something. Right, when I detangle this, we might get somewhere. Bear with me a moment. Right, so here's I don't think they're ever white. Even underneath it doesn't look white, it looks ivory. So in theory, this is a tone caller. So we'll try this one now, and we'll see what sort of noise this one makes, shall we? Oh yeah, much louder than the bell actually. Yeah, so see if it works the other way around. It does indeed. So I've done the old trick of blowing down one and listening in the other. Yeah, it's working. Hey, might have got them all working here. So yeah, very good. So, tribunes. Quite like tribunes though. I think they're quite a good design. This design of the sort of modern push button phones. I think this is probably the best one. What do you think? But yeah, I do like the Tribune design of phone. Probably supposed to put the handset on that way around. Which way around are you supposed to put the handset? Somebody tell me. I never quite know. I'm busy. Yeah, my phone goes all the time. But it can go. Right. Yeah. Right. Let's see what people are up to in the old chat, shall we? Right. Just open it up a bit. There we go. Gambo says, "Did you get the pic I sent, Andy?" I think I did, Gambo. Yeah. I've had a sleep since then. Bill says, "Good evening, Andy and all." Hi, Bills. Bill says, "Is Andy preparing for a jumble sale?" You ain't seen the half of it, Bills. You ain't seen the half of it. He says, "I've got a red Tribune. Has yours got bells in it, Bills, or has it got a tone thingy in it?" Christopher says, I also, as well as telephones, I've got a 1960s or 70s typewriter I sent you a photo of. Yeah, I know that one's arrived, Christopher. I've not opened the picture yet because it arrived on my phone. Gambo says, "Got a box of spare phone Nears the other day. Lots of goodies, plus an Ambassador handset in cream." Cool. Have you got the rest of the Ambassador to go with the handset? What you really want with an Ambassador, you want a dial one. You don't want the dial on. They are built like tanks, the Ambassadors. They really are. Because when they designed them, they thought they were going to be continuing with rented phones. They thought when they designed the Ambassador, so they built them so they wouldn't have to go out and repair them. So they are absolutely built like tanks, Ambassadors. They really are. I've got one with a dial on. Didn't work when it got here. There was a fault on the circuit board, but we rectified that. I think there was a wire off or something, and yeah, bright yellow, proper yellow, yeah, really bright. Busby yellow, I call it. I don't know what they actually called it at the time. Gambo says, don't need the ambassador handset, so going to a good home if anybody needs one. So if anybody needs an ambassador handset, shout up, and Gambo's got one. I can put you in touch. Right. Yeah. Ambassador handsets. Don't see many ambassadors about. I think they were a bit too well built, the ambassadors. I think they'd have bankrupted the manufacturers had they continued to make them. Yeah, they really are built like tanks. Yeah. Right. Okay. Perhaps I ought to have a look and see if I can find some of these photos and things that people have sent. But I was looking at tribunes, wasn't I? And what were we saying about tribunes? So there's a 9401, a 9402, a 9403, just with an R, a 9801, 9802, and a 9803. All looking incredibly similar, and a 9804 even. And that's an interesting one, because that one's like got a neon indicator and an amplifier. That one. And a 9806 has got a mother-in-law handset. I've never ever seen one. Has anybody ever seen a Tribune with a mother-in-law receiver? I've not, but apparently they did exist. A 94, a tone dialing only, but they did then do the 9804 was tone and pulse dialing, so they kind of went back to pulse dialing for those. That's interesting, isn't it? And they even did one with outgoing speech amplification for users with weak voices. So if you talked a bit like this, they did a phone for you. Just shout. But yeah, but they did some that were pulse dialing only, some that were tone dialing only, and some that did both. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do some that are pulse dialing only, some that are tone dialing only, and some that do both? Why not just make them all do both? You then have to stock less phones, have to keep less inventory, because any phone is sort of suitable for anything. I don't know. It seems a bit odd, that. Yeah. User issues. Bell volume control. I'm reading this off Bob Freshwater's BritishTelephones.com website. User issues, it says, with Tribunes. It says bell volume control is achieved. Not archived. Shall we start that again? Bell volume control is achieved by varying the travel of the bell plunger. This can result in bell tinkle due to line disturbance if the volume control is set to low. On certain systems, typically those with electronic ringing generators, a louder ring may be obtained if the control is set in the midpoint instead of loud. Pressing the S button will cut off outgoing transmission on all models without affecting incoming speech, except for Tribune 94XX series, made by DFM Limited. On these, the level of incoming speech is reduced whilst the S button is held down. The last number redial memory will be erased on LNR models if the telephone is disconnected from line for typically more than 5 minutes. There is no provision for memory retention batteries. All Tribunes have good immunity against RFI from 100 kHz to 10 MHz. Telephone number 9401AR and 9402AR can be converted to time break recall. On the underside of the telephone is a small plug in a recess which has markings E and T. The plug must be removed, turned 180 degrees and replaced so that the raised lug of the plug is now nearest the T. It says. So I don't think they were without their issues then. from that. They seem to have had to make an awful lot of different ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, basically 14 different variants. That's a lot of different variations. If they made them in all the different colours as well, crikey. Yeah, go collect Tribunes. See if you can get one of each. I bet you can't. Yeah, particularly the ones with the mother-in-law handset on them. Wow. I'm gobsmacked by all that. I am seriously gobsmacked by it all. Dominic's here, says hi all, just popping by. Hi Dominic. They've visited the Gloucester and Warwickshire Railway and tried to drive onto the Dean Forest Railway but missed the last train. Now you worried me there when you said try to drive onto the Dean Forest Railway. I thought you were like trying to leave your car across the tracks or something. It says nice views of the Severn though. You're getting about a bit, making that jag do a few miles, aren't you there, Dominic? Getting around a bit. I have to go up to Tyneside at some point in the near future because I bought an outboard motor for the boat that I'm restoring. It's a long story. I bought an outboard motor for it and I've got to go and fetch it from Stockton-on-Tees. It is Stockton-on-Tees. And I thought, oh, while I'm there, I'll go and visit the Middlesbrough Transporter Bridge, but it turns out it's closed, and that's been since 2019, and I didn't know. I think the boys from RV Design Pet are going to dismantle it and take it to Texas or something. Can you remember that? People really did think they were going to move it when that went out. Yeah, right. Anyhow, that's that. We've done it. We've sorted it. Who's this an ambassador? Got down here. What's this? More. Doesn't say on them what they are. That's not an ambassador, is it? It's not big enough. No, that's not an ambassador, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, the ambassador is. Well, it's a hefty hunk of plastic, the ambassador. Yeah, cool. Right, okay. Right. I ought to close a few of these windows now, otherwise my computer's going to throw a wobbler. Because that's what it usually does. Right, shut that on. Right, we're getting away with it so far. We're getting away with it. Right. Let's see if we can find. The pictures and things that people have sent. because people have been good enough to send them. At least I could do is show them, isn't it? So let's have a little look and see if we can find you. The trouble is, I get so much spam email, you would not believe how much spam email I get. Right, I'm looking for anything with an attachment. Right, Christopher's New Zealand phone. Now hopefully this will come out. It might be a little big for you to see it, but we'll see what we can do. Right, what's happened there? What has happened there to that? Right, let's have a little look. I'm trying. I am trying, honestly. Yeah, I think I know what's happened. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's gone off the bottom of the. So fine. How the hell do I move that up the screen? Make the header disappear. I have this problem every single time with these. You would think that one day I'll get this right, wouldn't you? But it ain't happened yet. Oh, right, hang on. Right. Right, for... Oh, I see. Right, okay. Yeah, I could do it that way then. Right, let's do that. Let's do that. And let's do that. That's the news we're going to get it, I think. Right. So this is Christopher's. This is Christopher's New Zealand phone. and it's kind of giving the game away with the stickers. Did you put the stickers on the outside, Christopher, or were they on already? New Zealand has a very strange way about it of doing things, in that basically 0 is next to 1. So the only thing on a New Zealand dial that is in the same place is 0. All the others are backward. Oh, and 5. 0 and 5 are both in the same place. Everything else is backwards way on. Now, what is weird about this is the dials, I believe I'm right in saying, don't pulse differently. So, when you dial a 9 in New Zealand, when you dial a 9 in New Zealand, your phone does 1 pulse. When you dial an 8 in New Zealand, your phone does 2 pulses. When you dial a 7, your phone does 3 pulses. When you dial a 6, it does 4 pulses. Right the way around to when you dial a 1, it does 9 pulses for a 1. And then for a 0, it does 10 pulses as usual. Very, very confusing. But it's because, I have no idea why they did it like this, but it's because all the exchange equipment and the telephones themselves are basically standard, except for that finger plate with the numbers backwards. That's the only bit of it that's different. All the rest of it, it's a standard dial. As far as I'm aware, it's only that plate that is different. And Christopher says yes, he did put the stickers on, because I bet it was confusing him. Bill says, is it because New Zealand and Norway built their telephone exchanges the other way around? It says, that's what I've heard. No, as far as I know, Bill, that the exchanges are the same. Because what the phone actually sends out, the pulses the phone sends out, and Christopher will be able to confirm this, I'm sure, the pulses are the same as normal. So you see how 9 is where 1 would normally be? When you dial a 9, it does 1 pulse. It just goes bup. It doesn't go bup, 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 bup. It just goes bup for 9. Because it's doing a 1 at the exchange. And it's just the finger wheels that are the wrong way around. It's absolutely insane. I can't get my head around it. But it's particularly weird because it's such a familiar phone, but the dial is wrong on it. You know, the dial is in a different order on it. If it was a completely alien phone, it wouldn't look so weird, but it's because you're so used to it and you think, hang on a minute, I bet it catches people out who've come back from the pub, that. Yeah, crikey, talk about being able to dial wrong numbers and that. It's great, that is. I like it. I do like that. I know people that can't use a dial phone. I know people who have never used a rotary phone, have no clue how to do it. They'd certainly have no clue how to use that one, would they? It's brilliant. Christopher says, yes, the pulses are the same as a GPO 746. Bill says it could be not to confuse with other people's numbers. I don't know. I don't know why they did it. It is logical to have 0 next to 1 though, isn't it? And then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to 9. But 0, you see, does 10 pulses, doesn't it? So that's why normally it's at the side of 9. Because it is 9 and then next one up it does 10, so you just drag it down around a bit more so it does an extra pulse to do the 10, which you are doing on that as well. Because 9 pulses is 1, but it is still 9 pulses. It's mightily bizarre. It's mightily bizarre. My God, you'd have to think about that. How would that work if you connected that up to 69? Your numbers would be all wrong, wouldn't they? Like if you dialed like CNET, I don't know, say you dialed 28 on CNET. If you dialed 28 as they've got it, you'd actually be dialing 82. Or if you dialed 93 as they've got it, you'd actually be dialing on CNET 17. Oh my God. Wesley says perhaps it's to do with the emergency numbers used in New Zealand. Possibly so, Wesley. Possibly so. But I really can't think of a good reason to do that. Unless they're just bonkers well, they are a bit bonkers in New Zealand. I know some people from New Zealand, and yeah, they are a bit bonkers. Yeah, but it's very strange, isn't it? Very strange. I've never seen anything quite like it. Very odd. Is that you? There's somewhere else in the world that does weird backward dials, isn't there? But what do? Now they think another place that does it has done the normal way around but moves 0 to the top. So where the 9 is on a New Zealand dial, where a 1 would normally be, they put a 0 and then put a 1 where a 2 would normally be, or where an 8 is in New Zealand. Where is it that does that? Somewhere does that. So your actual dial goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it finishes with a 9 at the bottom. Somewhere does that, and I can't remember where it is. Bill says, hang on Andy, I have a photo from Amberley Museum showing the difference. Let me find it. Oh, crikey, yeah. Yeah, have a look, Bills. Bill says it's something to do with sending shorter pulses. No, you'd be sending longer pulses. It would depend on what number you dialed, wouldn't it? I don't know. Yeah. It's weird. It's just weird. I'm just going to say that. It's just weird. We'll leave it at that, shall we? It's weird. Yeah. So, have we got anything else in the old email? Because that is mighty bizarre. That is mightily bizarre. That. Oh, he's got a typewriter as well. He was talking about a typewriter, wasn't he? Let's see if we can find a picture of the typewriter for you. There it is. Le Maire Helvetia. 9 know what this reminds me of. This reminds me of the typewriter from The Shining. It's not the typewriter from The Shining, but it reminds me of it. Wrong colour though. The one in The Shining was grey. Actually, it wasn't. The typewriter in The Shining was orange, and L3 Studios painted it grey. But it's kind of the same sort of age. That is. Yeah, I did a little while ago. I tried to get a typewriter from The Shining, and it's a very specific model of typewriter, and they're very hard to come by. And other models in the range that are similar but not the same don't fetch a lot of money, but that particular model fetches a fortune, purely and simply because it's the typewriter from The Shining. But yeah, that's quite good, isn't it? Is that sort of 1960s perhaps, I would say. But yeah, excellent. I have a typewriter here. I don't know if people can see it. Let me put some illumination on here in shed control, and I will try and show you. Maybe I'll use the other camera to do it. I'll try and show you. It's buried under boxes and things at the minute, 'cause I'm in a very small room here, but there's one of the typewriters here. Sorry. It is an Imperial 58 to this, and it's odd because all the internal gubbins, you press these two things down here, and all the internal gubbins of the typewriter all comes out, so you can service it. It's very strange. I think we've shown it before. I've got keys stuck now. I think we've shown it. It does need a service. It only prints half a character, this typewriter. I have no idea why it prints either the top half of a character or the bottom half of a character. Something somewhere needs lining up to do with the carriage, I think, but I've never been able to quite figure out what you should adjust on it. Can't really find anything to adjust. I also wonder if it's just the roller that's gone hard, the rubber rollery thing. But yeah, old typewriter, and a couple of other phones there, of course, as well, which the eagle eyes amongst you will spot, including the very dirty green 706, which is still here, having work done on it. Well, it's not a 706, it's a 706 clone actually, but it's been here ages, that phone. I really ought to get that finished, didn't I? But yeah, Christopher's typewriter is somewhat large. Right, have we got anything else in the old inbox? Let's have a little scout through. Just checking through all my spam. Oh, Gambo's handset. Yes, Gambo's bright blue handset. You may remember last week Gambo said he got a bright blue 706 style handset. Well, he sent some pictures of it. Which are here. His holder is in front of a screen with some damn handsome fellow on it. I don't know who that is. But yeah, now it doesn't show up. You think from this, you think, oh, well, that's just a Concorde Blue handset. But I'm assured it's not a Concorde blue handset. I'm assured it is actually a bright blue handset that is got there, out of a payphone, we believe. So yeah, interesting. I can't ever remember seeing one. Are you sure it's not Concorde blue, Gambo? It really looks Concorde blue in these photos. It does not look bright blue, that doesn't, to me. But he says it's the same bright blue as the 776. You know, the compact telephone. He says it's that brighter blue, and it really doesn't look it from these photos. But yeah, I've got no idea. So there you go. So there's Gambo's handset. I think that's about it. Don't think we've had anything else recently. Right, I'll close that. Brill. So there we go. So yeah, so that is the typewriter that's here, and you'll see a couple of phones there as well. I do need to tidy up, don't I? I've just got far too much stuff around. But yeah. Right. Anyway, what are people up to in the old chat? Is it? Chris said, Andy, did you get my email, the Ericsson telephone dial label? I did, Christopher. Yeah, that was a while back, wasn't it? It's too far back for me to troll back and find now, but I have got that, thanks, yeah. Gambo says, that handset is definitely not Concorde blue. It's definitely bright blue. Cool. What was it put on then? What did they use it on? It was bright blue. What sort of phone had a 700 style bright blue handset on it? I know it was a payphone of some sort, but what was it? Bill says, I forgot to send my email to Christopher. Do you think I should just send it on here, the email address? I'm so sorry, I forgot. Bills, you can send it to me if you like, and I'll pass it on, because I've mentioned my email on here. Andy@corepress.net. I don't even know if I've got your email address already, Bills. Just send it to me, Bills, and I will forward it on to Christopher. Just send me like a blank email that just says hello, please forward to Christopher on it, and I'll forward it on to him. Yeah, no problem. We can sort that out. We are the fix-it of telephones. Right. Dominic says, nice typewriters. I have a W.H. Smith branded Silver Reed, one from the 80s, and a 70s Olivetti Letter 25. Crikey. I still want the one from The Shining. Yeah, which apparently is orange. Apparently they painted it in the morning. It was orange when it went onto the set of The Shining, and Stanley Kubrick didn't like it. So there was a guy at Elstree who painted it at lunchtime and turned it grey. So what I have to do is I have to get an orange one and paint it grey to be entirely correct. Don't even know if they made grey ones or not. But it should be an orange one, and you have to paint it grey. What I don't know is what colour paint the guy at Elstree used to paint it grey, and he probably doesn't know either. He probably just uses the pot of paint that he found in a corner of the studio somewhere. Dominic says, if you had a spare New Zealand number plate, it would have made a very good prank at Christchurch. It would. Hey, don't even start. People at the Tramway Museum at Christchurch can't even use a normal blooming phone with a normal number plate on it, let alone putting a backwards one on. Crikey. Number of people that used to come into me and go, my phone's not working. We used to have one particular person called Winston Bond. I think he's dead now, Winston, but he was the treasurer of the Tramway Museum Society at the time, and he always used to come in and he used to flap his tie like Oliver Hardy. He'd go, my phone's not working, my phone's not working on my desk. And he used to say, I'll go and have a look at it, Winston. And you'd go up to his office and he'd go, I've told you it's not working, there's no need for you to have a look, I've told you it's not working. And you'd go in and you'd dial the number and you'd dial straight out on it without any problem at all. You'd go, oh, well, it wasn't working earlier, it's working now, Winston. And the funny thing about it is, he used to work for Cellnet. In fact, when he retired from Cellnet, he had problems with his pension, because he had problems with everything, did Winston. And he had problems with his pension, and a representative from Cellnet used to ring quite regularly, and he was at Christchurch a lot once he retired, sort of causing havoc. And this girl from Cellnet rang once and said, can I speak to Mr. Bond about his pension, please? I said, certainly, I'll put you through. I said, but before I do, if we have a whip round, how much would we have to raise before you'd have him back? And she said, more than you can afford, lovey, and put the phone down. Yeah, poor old Winston. Yeah. I'm just catching up on the chat and that. Sometimes it gets stuck and it needs a little help from his friends. Bill says, I sent you an email. Right, thank you, Bills. I will forward it on when it gets here, which I don't think it has done yet. Emails sometimes don't actually come through while I'm on air. I think it uses a bit too much bandwidth for them to do it. I'll have a look and see if it's done it, Bills. Right. Oh, hang on, he's... Yeah, I'll have to do it when I come off here. Yeah, it's here, Bills. I will do it when I'm off air, because I can't actually do it at the moment, I don't think. Oh, hang on, why can't I do that? I should be able to do that, shouldn't I? Yes, I should. Why could I not do that? Right, let me have another go at that. Just talk amongst yourselves a minute. It's fine, honestly. Forward. Right. Right, Christopher, I've done that. So, Christopher, if you are listening and watching still, you should be receiving an email any minute now, hopefully, with Bill's email address in it. It's come from me, so if you reply to it, you'll only get me. But if you read down in the email, you'll see Bill's email address in it, so you can make contact with him. Okay? Smashing. Glad we've sorted that out. Crikey. It's like, I don't know, it's like one of them. Swap shop. It's like swap shop. You know, and there used to be, yeah, I've got this and I've got this. Can you give my details to them so they can give me that? And yeah, it's like swap shop. Yeah. Multicoloured swap shop. The only problem is I'm not being ably assisted by Maggie Philby. Yeah. Who remembers Swap Shop with Maggie Philby? Yeah, you can keep your Tiswas and your Sally Watson face and that. I was Swap Shop and Maggie all the way. Gambo says, send some pics of my latest purchase at auction and another better pic of the handset with a bright blue compact and a payphone, but with a black 700 handset. You know, I think payphones used to have black handsets. So did they start doing blue handsets later on? Bill says, Andy, you need to get the fax machine. I've not got a fax. Hey, that'd be good. Hey, now, I wonder if you could make a fax machine work over CNET. Christopher, have you got a fax machine? I do need to get CNET sorted out. I'm still working on that. But yeah, I wonder if you could make a fax machine work over CNET. That'd be good. There was a follow-up show. It wasn't Swap Shop. Fax machines didn't exist when Swap Shop was on. But there was a show a few years later. I think it was called Up to You, presented by Tony Doughty, Jenny Powell and Anthea Turner. Tony, you got all the good jobs, didn't you? Yeah, Tony Doughty, Anthea Turner and Jenny Powell. It was called Up to You. It ran on a Saturday morning. And I believe they did have a fax machine, and you could like draw a picture and send it in by fax. On that, I don't know how many people they thought had fax machines at home, but yeah. And I think they did. I think they did an outside broadcast on Up to You, a bit like the Swappy. You know the Swapperama that Cheggers used to do on Swap Shop. I think they did an OB on Up to You, where you could go and take your photo and take your picture that you'd drawn. And somebody on the OB fed it into a fax machine, so it printed out in the studio, and they could like pin it up in the studio straight away. Yeah, do seem to remember that. Can anybody remember Up to You? Is it just me? There's certain things that I remember that nobody else can remember, and I think, well, am I in some sort of parallel universe? Up to You is one of them. The other is frisettes. Used to get frisettes. Has anybody else ever eaten a frisette? Yeah. Christopher said, on the Grandstream ATA, as a setting for New Zealand dials, I know for New Zealand phone, so I could use my New Zealand PO746 on CNET. By the way, Andy, did you get CNET working again? No, I've just said not yet, Christopher. Well, CNET is working. It's just my server bit of it that's not working. Because I just need to clear some stuff out so I can get it and put a screen on it. Because it's running headless at the minute, and it needs a screen on it so I can do some work on the back end of it. And it's just lack of space. Dominic says, what handsets did Mercury use? Mercury Blue? Oh, that's an interesting question. I think, Dominic, Mercury used entirely different phones for pay phones, because one of the reasons Mercury failed was nobody used to pay for the calls on payphones, because Mercury payphones work differently, and you put your coin in and it actually physically unlocked the dial or the keypad on a Mercury phone. But you could make a call without unlocking the keypad stroke dial by tapping the hook switch, which of course people did and made lots of free phone calls on Mercury. Wesley says the Plessy payphones of the 80s had a light blue handset. I don't know. Where it says watch Only Fools and Horses. Do I have to? Yeah. I don't like Only Fools and Horses. I've never liked that programme. Never liked it. It's just not funny. It's like Monty Python. It's just not funny. Yeah. Alright. That'll have been a trigger for some people. Only Fools and Horses is not funny. Monty Python is not funny. Discuss. Wesley says there were definitely pale blue handsets on payphones around here. Right, shall we have a little look and see if Gambo's pictures come through. Right, I've got to find it again. Right. I could do with interlude music. Oh yeah. Oh my God, it's right. Yeah, right. Okay. Right. Let's have a look. See if I can show you that now. Browser. Right, there it is. Right. Gambo's got a new phone. It's French, as you can see. Yeah. At least I think that's French. Yeah, that's fine, Gambo. Yeah. Big buttons. Looks like he bought it from an auction. From the sticker. Yeah, that's French with that thing on the end of it. And the fact it's all written in foreign-like on the bottom as well, you know, it's French. And there's the handset with a blue compact telephone. And that colour is, by the way, is the rarest colour of compact telephone. That's the one to get. If you can get one that colour, you're doing quite well, because that is the rarest colour. And there is an 8746 handset. Now, it's an 8746 handset rather than a 746 handset, and the way I can tell that basically is because that later handset has lots of little holes in the bit you put to your ear, whereas the earlier ones only have like 3. So that's a very late on handset. So perhaps they did start putting them on payphones in the mid-80s-ish. Perhaps they did start doing it. It's a good find, that is, though, Gambo. It's a really good find, that. This is if it's off a payphone and it's not just one that's been remanufactured by some of the people that remanufacture things using the original moulds, which does sometimes happen. But it's got little holes in the caps, hasn't it, Gambo, where they used to put a rivet through to stop you unscrewing the caps. So it probably is right. But yeah, it's very cool. And it's that payphone, is it? Yeah. Did we find one of those payphones in Blackpool? You know when we examined those phone boxes, where there were about two or three phone boxes side by side, Gambo. Didn't we say that one of them had got a very old payphone in it, and wasn't it one of those? But I don't think it had a blue handset. It might not have had any handset. It might have been vandalised. But yeah, go back and watch the Blackpool special that we did about this time last year, and see if we'd have noticed if it was blue. If it had a 746 type blue handset, I'm sure we'd have noticed. But all the ones I've seen are black like that. So, yeah. So I don't rightly know what's going on there. But yeah, that's definitely blue, isn't it? Yeah. Proper blue. And that, well, I don't know what colour that is. It's dirty pond water French colour, isn't it? I have no idea. They're alone to themselves over there. But yeah, the blue handsets are a really good find. That well found on that one, Gambo. That's a rare item. That I would say, a very rare item. Shame not got the rest of the payphone to go with it. Maybe you need to have a trip to Blackpool with a screwdriver. Don't even go there. Yeah, interesting. I've learnt something today there. Yeah, learnt something new. Right. Gambo says, yeah, it's definitely got holes in the caps. And a lead 8 through the central handsets. Yeah, I'm sure there was one in Blackpool, but not blue, I think. Yeah, I think it was not blue. Yeah. Bill says, I have all 4 compacts. So you've got the grey one, that I call the ivory one, because that's how they look these days. The grey one, the bright blue one, the brown one. What's the other one? Is there 4? Got the grey one, the bright blue one, the brown one. Is there another one? What's the other one, Bills? There's a mid-browny coloured one, a grey one, which looks sort of ivoryish, very pale grey in theory, and the bright blue one. What's the other one? Then if you're going to say it's the Jubilee coloured one, that's not a compact. It's an entirely different animal. That it's not a 776. The Jubilees were not 776s. Bill says, when the new KX boxers came on for disabled access, they were blue handsets. Right, so that's probably answered it. Christopher says, Andy, I'm going to show you what I mean on ground stream with New Zealand dialing. Set it in 5 minutes in email, Andy. Right, okay, it might not arrive here, Christopher, but we'll see. Gambo says, a French phone has a mother-in-law earpiece. Don't tempt me on swiping the payphone. It says the Jubilee is the other one. Yeah, the Jubilee is not. Right, here's something to do some research on. The Jubilee is not a 776. What happened was the 776s came out after 1977, after the Queen's Silver Jubilee. You'll find they normally got a date on us around about 1980, something like that. What the Jubilee phones were, they had a very complex code on the bottom of them. It wasn't just 776, it was, I think it was SM something 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 something. But what they were is they were a field trial phone that had come out in the early 1970s. This trial had taken place. They were all recalled or wiped up, as the GPO called it, and they were then refurbished, had the new dark blue case put on them, and then sent out as Jubilees. Yeah. So here's the question: when those Jubilees were first made in the early 1970s, what colours were the cases that they had that all got taken off and replaced with the Jubilee cases? The 776s are not the wiped up phones. The 776s are ones manufactured after 1977. They are, because internally there are differences. So what colours were the field trial compact phones that became the Jubilees? Nobody's ever been able to tell me, so anybody who wants to do a bit of research, there you go. Bill said the Jubilees in 1977 are called Balmoral Blue. I always call them Midnight Blue because sometimes they do look almost black. Dominic says, my car is in exactly the same colour as the Jubilee phone. What, that dark blue? That really dark blue? Cool. Bill says, I will have to have a look. Be right back. He's going to have a look what colour the field trial phones were now. 4271 something, says Bill's. It says, I had no idea. Dominic says, believe the field trial compacts were grey. Where do you know that from, Dominic? Because I've never seen any reference to it. So I'd be interested to know where you've got that nugget of information. Because I've never seen a reference to it. Were they all one colour? Did they become all the same colour? I suppose if it was a field trial, they probably did, didn't they? No, they won't bother making different colours. They just make one batch, wouldn't they? There must have been a lot of them, though. Because think how many Jubilees they made. They must have made a phenomenal number of Jubilees. Because I've got a lot. Yeah. I bet I've got at least 10. Yeah. Yeah, because Bill says everything is grey for a trial. Well, possibly so, Bills. I wonder what grey they were. I wonder if they were the grey of the 746s, or if they are the grey of the later 776 compacts, which was lighter. Yeah, crikey, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, but it'd be interesting to put a Jubilee back to how it was in its field trial days, wouldn't it? How come Jubilees don't say field trial in the bottom of them then? How come they don't have field trial sort of stamped with a hot thing into the plastic on the bottom of them? I don't know. I will have to investigate Jubilees further. Yeah, I did a video once about the difference between Jubilee and 776. It's still out there on the channel somewhere. If you want to have a look back and find it, where I got some 776s at the side of a Jubilee and showed the internal differences. It's all to do with the wiring on the inside. Dominic says, isn't there something on Bob's page I seem to recall? There may be, Dominic. I'll go away and do some research and I'll report back. Bill says, so are you telling me, Andy, the Jubilee is a con? Well, I'm telling you, it was a sort of second-hand phone, yeah. Yeah, it was one that the people at Cumcarn, or whatever you call it, probably had some involvement with. Because, of course, all the phones back then were rented. And I think that was still the case by 1977. So you rented the phone, and I bet you paid more for a Jubilee. If you wanted a Jubilee phone, I bet you had to pay more for it. Because the world went mad in 1977. You can't appreciate it now. But the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 1977, I remember it, I was 6 at the time. And everybody decorated the houses and put flags across the streets and shut the roads on street parties. It was a real big thing, the Queen's Silver Jubilee, and it went on for months in 1977. It went on for absolutely for months, the Queen's Jubilee. It was a massive thing. Everybody decorated the windows in their houses, and yeah, it was humongous. There were special stamps. There were buses painted in special liveries. Yeah, it was a massive celebration. Yeah, so I can see why they did the Jubilees, because they wanted a special phone that they could hand out for the Jubilee, and STC were going to do a trim phone, and STC did indeed do some sort of blue and white trim phones with a royal sort of cipher thing on the handset, and they do pop up every now and again on eBay, and some people say, oh, there's only one and this is it, and there's not. There were a number done. I think in the end they did them and gave them to STC employees, I think. So however many STC employees there were, let's say maybe 100 or a couple of hundred, I think there were probably 100 or a couple of hundred of those special trim phones made for the employees, I think. But they certainly pop up from time to time. I've not got one, but they have popped up. Right, going back to the compact phone thing. So Bill says, so Andy, you're telling me the Jubilee is a con. Wesley says, the Jubilee phones were assembled at Cumcarn. I've never read anything to suggest they were refurbished. Wesley says, any I've had were marked FWB, built, and not FWR, refurbished. The Snowden trim phones, for instance, are marked FWR. I wonder if they were altered though, Wesley. Bill says, yes, in green trim phone, had the cipher on. No, it wasn't green, it was blue. Dominic says it was a Class 47 loco painted with a big Union Jack on the side for the Jubilee. Was that done for the Queen's Jubilee? I've seen that, or seen pictures of that. I didn't know it was done for the Jubilee though. Bill says it does have FWR on the bottom. What does Bill's? What has FWR on the bottom? I'm literally losing my thread here. So Wesley is saying that because it had FWB, Bill, not FWR, on the Jubilee phones, that they were new. But how new is new? Is it that they completely disassembled the field trial phones and then rebuilt them out of bits, and then could you then call it a new phone? I don't know. Don't know about that. But I've always understood it was the wiped up field trial compact phones that became the Jubilees, because they are different inside to the 776s. And also that would explain why you never find a field trial compact phone. You never ever find one. You find field trial 706s and 746s and stuff like that. You never find a field trial compact. I've never heard of one showing up. Bill says my compact Jubilee, it has FWR on the bottom. So Bill's doesn't agree with what Wesley is saying. Wesley, are you saying the FWB is from an actual phone, or is that information you've got from elsewhere? I'm just wondering if you've actually got a compact that's had a Jubilee case put on it, Wesley. That's what I'm wondering, because the parts are interchangeable, the cases are interchangeable on them, most definitely. Dominic says, it begs the question, if you were an STC employee and given a Jubilee trim phone, how did you get it connected to the landline in the days of renting? Was it GPO approved? I've got absolutely no. I don't know that they were given to employees, Wesley. I don't know that for certain. That might not be right. But I've certainly seen more than one of these STC Jubilee trim phones. And I had a big argument once with an owner of one of them who was trying to sell it on eBay for a ridiculous amount of money. And he said it was unique, and I said, that's not unique. I said, I've seen a number of them. And he had a right go at me. But it's not unique. There are a number of them out there. So I don't know. But yeah, Dominic said, I guess it would be just for display. Possibly. I mean, you have to remember that it was such a big thing, the Jubilee, that everybody sort of got a present for the Jubilee. I was at school, I got a mug. I can remember getting a ceramic mug with the Queen's face on and that, fancy design for the Jubilee. And I think every kid in the country got a silver Jubilee mug. And I think most people who work for big companies got something to celebrate the Jubilee. So I would not be surprised if all STC's employees got a trim phone. I would not be surprised at all. Chris says, and I sent the settings around to show the New Zealand pulse dial on the Grand Stream ATA. Brilliant. It's not arrived yet, Christopher. It might not come through while I'm streaming, because sometimes it doesn't. Wesley says, it's on my phone. I've got FWB. So you've got FWB on your phone, Wesley. And Bill's has got FWR on his. Bill's FWR, the R is for refurbished. FWB, what Wesley is saying, the B means built and the R means refurbished. That's what Wesley's saying. If I've understood it right. perhaps they ran out of field trial phones and did start building something. So I wonder if some of them are 776s. I'm going to have to get every Jubilee that I've got, get them all side by side, and forensically examine all of them and see if there are any differences between them, aren't there? Yes. Neville says, have you still got the mug? Good question that, Neville. I'm guessing I probably have at the back of a cupboard somewhere. I can't say I've seen it for years, but I probably have at the back of a cupboard somewhere. I've got a Big Brother mug as well somewhere they sent me. In fact, I think I've got two, because he sent me two at different times. I always like it when people send me mugs, because you can use a mug, can't you? Yeah. So I always like it when people send me a mug. Wesley says the phones would have been hardwired with the exception of Plan 4, so they would have been ornaments. Perhaps they were, Wesley. Perhaps they were. Wesley says it's SA4271. I'll go along with that, Wesley. I think that is probably right. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know it's SA something. Yeah, that is it. It says Google Jubilee trim phone Kunkan and select images, and you'll find the Jubilee trim phone. Jubilee trim phone Kunkan. Yeah, the internet gets things wrong though. This is a problem with looking things up on the internet. The internet gets stuff wrong. Kunkan did not make, as far as I know, a Jubilee trim phone. They made a Jubilee that would later become the compact, as far as I know. Google Jubilee trim phone. I'll try it, but I'm not expecting much out of it. Jubilee trim phone. (1977) Queen Silver Jubilee trim phone from the old telephone room. That was a sort of white base, or possibly a grey base. You know, make the main part of it with a blue handset, specially marked with the royal cipher, and it was push buttons. It was a 10-button push button phone. And there is also a dial version of it. As I do this Google search, well, it's actually a DuckDuckGo search what I've done, but same difference. But I've clearly here got photos of it with push buttons and with a dial. So there were at least two. Right, let's click on Worth Point and see what it says. You are bidding on a genuine original Silver Jubilee trim phone. The handset decoration is not a sticker, but has been manufactured like this, complete with gold detail. I have never seen another one, and have spent years trying to find any information on it. The previous owner, 82 years old, worked for STC. The condition is excellent, with no cracks or chips, just a few scuff marks. on base, otherwise it's mint. This is an old-fashioned plug and we'll need to have a modern one fitted, so we are unable to test this phone. See our other collectible items currently listed, yada yada yada. And that's one with a dial. But interestingly, it's not an entirely blue handset. It's got grey bits on it. The handset, when you look at it from the side, how weird is that? Doesn't tell you how much it sold for though. Right. Let's have a look at the old telephone room, see what that tells us about it. Silver Jubilee Edition prototype, produced in the UK by STC in 1977, never issued to the UK public. Approximately 50 were made. Oh, that sounds more like it. The Post Office were looking to issue a commemorative telephone to celebrate the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 1977, and manufacturers were asked to submit ideas. STC's offerings consisted of a push button and a dial trim phone, both with a white body and blue handset. But the other one has not got a white body and a blue handset. It's got a white body and a blue handset top with white caps on it at each end. The push button version also had blue keypad buttons. Unfortunately, the Post Office rejected STC's submission in favour of the navy blue compact telephone. It wasn't, but there are a handful of the STC prototypes in the hands of collectors. But that one's different. The source of the thing is eBay auctions from 2017 and 2019. Apparently. Winning bid at one of them was £501. How mad is that? And another one, it says place bid at £375. That's crazy. Don't be silly. Yeah. So there are different versions of it with different caps and things on, and yeah. I've seen them. I'm not convinced. I think it's a grey body. I think apart from the buttons, it'd be quite easy to make one of those. Yes, while I'm making the gold-plated trim phone from the Golden Shot, I ought to make one of these, didn't I, as well? That'd upset them, wouldn't it? Duh. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, Jubilee phones. Yeah. Don't be conned. I tend to believe that. It said they made about 50 of them. I tend to think that is probably about right. Dominic says, got to drop off now, but very interesting discussion. See everyone next week. Okie dokie, bye Dominic, see you next time. Yeah, I better go as well, it's 9:15, crikey, where does the time go? Bill says, yeah, it's my bedtime too, night all. Night, Bills. Yeah, it might even be my bedtime as well, I think. Yeah, thanks to everybody for taking part again today. It's been an interesting one, shall we say. I've now got to find somewhere to put like 8 tribunes. Where can I put 8 tribunes? Don't answer that. Yeah, but yeah, while I find somewhere to put those, I will say ta-ra, I do believe. Right, next week, next week we may not be on. Not sure about next week. We may not be on because I am out all weekend next week. If I'm back, I'll be on. If I'm not back, I won't be on. So make sure you've got your subscribe thing clicked and your little bell icon thing clicked so you get notified when we come on. But I'm thinking we might not be on next week, so we'll probably be back the week after. But again, make sure you've got your little bell thing clicked so you know when we're going to be here. Yeah, it's all very interesting that. When I get a moment, which will be sometime in the year 2037, I believe, I'll actually get all the Jubilee phones out and have a look at all of them and see if they are all the same or not. Meanwhile, if anybody wants to send me a Silver Jubilee trim phone, feel free. Got a lot of trim phones, but not got one of that. Tell you something, I bet the push button one doesn't work anymore because those 10 button trim phones are notoriously bad for failing. But yeah, I'll do some research and I will try and find out more about it and let you know for next time. So I'm going to clear off. Thanks to everybody for taking part, as I say, and I will see you, if not next week, maybe the week after, certainly the week after that, in 3 weeks' time, because that's when I should be back here. But we may be on next week or week after, provided I get back in time from my travels. But for me, for now, have a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.